you guys continue to grow. It's crazy to see your growth and what you guys have been doing the last, since I've known you 15 years. When you think about growth, Brent, tell us about that. Tell us about where you are when you found that partner. Maybe mention his name because I know he became a mentor of yours. He's still a great friend of yours today. And talk about where you were then when I think that was still a really small business, right? You jumped into. He gave the opportunity to partner with him, I think, right away. And then and where you've gone and where you're at today compared.
Yeah. So at that time, Tom was again had this financial planning business. So he was writing prescriptions for people, sending them on their way. The challenge was, just like you can go to the doctor and get a prescription and you never fill your prescription, or you never go back and, get it updated, that it wasn't really working well. It was a great theory, but it wasn't getting implemented. The business plan I had was for the pharmacy. It's like, all right, we can actually manage the investments. We can actually build portfolios, report on them, and fill those prescriptions. And so we set up a separate business. Tom contributed $5,000. I contributed $5,000 worth of computer equipment. That was what we found the business on. That's the last time I put money into the business. And really at that point, he had the field. Think of the oil field, and he had all. He was in the insurance business, and then he did these financial plans. So he had gray hair, so he knew people. I did everything else, and that was the gist of it. So I had the rig, he had the field, and that was great because he wasn't there was synergy between our skill sets and between the two of us, we could create more value than either one of us individually were able to. And so we did that, and we went along for a while. We kind of got to an inflection point then where, frankly, we needed more sales, and we had the platform, the rig, if you will, already figured out. So he prodded me to get out there and sell as well. And we realized, all right, the rig is good enough. We don't need to even better refine the oil rig. We just need to tap into more, oil. So I did a 180. And again, this was a point where the introvert in me still was anxious. Well, I got to go sell, because if I knew I had to, sell, I never would have gotten into this business. I never would have started this business. But the fear of failing or not growing exceeded, the fear of going out there and telling the whole world. So, I did a 180 and I started, trying everything I could. Anywhere I could speak, anywhere I could network, anybody that had money. I mean, I was knocking on doors and it worked. And, in fairly short order, start selling like crazy and start bringing in a lot more customers. So now it was kind of like two general practitioners that shared office space. We had this kind of common investment platform, but he kind of did things his way, I did my way, and we kind of had a common back office, if you will. It was still pretty dysfunctional though, because I really never had a real job, and he never really had a real job. Both of us were sort of gunslinger entrepreneurs that just made stuff up as we went. And you'll appreciate that. You're entrepreneur to the extreme. You make stuff up, ready, fire, aim, right? And, but we also then realized, this gets to about 1998. We were a few years in. We needed structure. We needed process. We needed systems. And as we found, Dick Bennett was the third leg to the stool, because it was kind of like a stool with two legs. It gets pretty tiring trying to balance all the time with just two legs. Dick had run, at the time seemed massive, a $400 million trust company, bank, came from the banking world. And he got tired literally in 5 years, the name of the bank changed 4 times. And every time they did that, they kept pushing new proprietary products. And, I remember Dick saying, the trust is out of trust, because he was in the trust department business. It's like, You're not trustworthy anymore. I can't do this anymore. And so we ended up recruiting him, and he became a third partner, third founder, if you will. But he brought some structure. He came from a banking world. He had worked for real companies with real systems. And more evolved compliance and so on. So that was helpful. It was also the tiebreaker. Tom and I, oftentimes we were different. That made us good together, but it also made it tough sometimes. So Dick became sort of the third leg on the stool, tiebreaker. What also allowed, then, Tom to really just focus on clients. I kind of was able to manage the money, but focus on clients. And then Dick really, helped me create some structure and professional management within the business. That was that took us through about 2001, right? And when Dick joined us, we were 113 million that we managed. About 2001, what we realize now is there's three of us that are like on the front lines, and we're like three general practitioners, again, all kind of doing our own thing, certain things in common. But we were getting more and more calls and questions, and sometimes I didn't even understand the questions, let alone have the answers. And we were getting really busy, and we realized, listen, we either got to do one of two things. We either got to blow this out and grow it, scale it, hire a bunch of people, or we got to close our doors and have a nice lifestyle business. Now, I can't, just like you. I mean, you couldn't just close your doors and have a little lifestyle business. It's not in your DNA, right? Not mine neither, right? So we decided to grow it. We actually looked to the Mayo Clinic. I've never been there happily, but my understanding is there's two things special about Mayo Clinic. One, they hire some of the world's best specialists. But more importantly, they work as a team. They have a collaborative process to where they put those specialist doctors together, and they tend to diagnose better and come up with better treatment plans by working on a collaborative team basis. So we sort of modeled that savant at that point. Instead of having three generalists, we said, let's start hiring specialists. That's what we did. For the next 10 years, we hired specialists, and really, it wasn't Brodesky, Muldowney, and Bennett on the door. It was SWAT. We wanted this to be bigger than any of us. So it wasn't about individual egos. It wasn't about our individual brands. It was about building something that created, again, getting back to that pie, the best possible pie, and creating great value for our clients, creating great value increasingly for our team, because, what we realized at some point is hey, our team are frankly more important than our clients. Why? Because if we take care of our team are going to take care of our clients. And there was only so many clients that the three founders could handle. So increasingly, that they were on the front lines. And so we built this, great teamwork approach to, creating value and building a brand.
When you think of the subject matter experts you had to surround yourself with, Brent, tell us about was it customer focused, customer centric experts basically that could focus on certain individual customers or certain groups of customers, or was it back office expertise? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was all the above, but when I think specialists, it tends to be more subject matter. We needed a lot of people backstage to handle all the operations and technology and systems, accounting as well. But where most of the advisors just focused on investments, like picking stocks or picking mutual funds, and really didn't do much more. I mean, they're kind of just moving commodities around, but charging a premium price for that. We realized that, the investments are just like gas in the tank. Yes, it's important, but it's not even the car it's not the gas that's important. The gas is a means to make the car move, and the car is a means to get you where you want to go.
Sure.
Right? So what we realized early on was that it wasn't about the investments, or the gas, nor the car, nor the portfolios. It was about creating ideal futures for clients. It was about helping our clients say, what's important to you? What are your values? What are your priorities? What do you care about? What matters to you? And if you start out with that end in mind, this is, for a given client or family, this is what they care about. This is what matters. You get clear around that. Then it's a matter, yes, you need gas in the tank and you need the car to get there. to navigate through all the complexity to get to the destination, which is the client's ideal future.
So as Simon Sinek would say, right? What's their why? If you can figure out the why, what do they want in the long run? Where they want to solve? What problems they want to solve in their life, right? Where they want what problems they want their finance, their money to solve, right, in their life going forward. If you can figure the why out, then you can figure out the best means of investing their money on.
You start out, okay, this is what we aspire to. We want to accomplish this. We want to instill these values in our family. We want to leave, resources, to charity, to my kids. Helping. What we learned is if we could help, our clients get clear around their definition of success, what will give them peace of mind. Now we've got that destination. Okay, so now the subject matter experts are like, all right, how are the different routes to get there? Because there's tax complexities. I mean, we need to navigate through this complex tax code that keeps changing. There are estate planning complexities. Like, all right, how do I, leave, my assets to my children? How do I leave assets optimally to charity? There are insurance needs because, like, listen, bad things happen. I could get hit by a bus. How do I make sure that my kids can still go to school if I'm not around to support them? There are, of course, investment needs. There are, trust needs. There's all these different component parts, to get to your ideal future. And which, again, we needed these subject matter experts to help navigate through these. We think about it as, there's like 10 different core areas of key areas, of creating an ideal future, that range from retirement to education for business owners, business succession planning, philanthropy, taxes, debt management. And so by building out a team of experts in all those areas, the client who has an advisor is sort of like that general practitioner. I think to go back to Mayo's, it's that doctor that is sort of, they're managing their case. But that doctor can go and talk to all these other experts and, back with that ultimate treatment plan. Now, the client doesn't necessarily want to have to interact with all those doctors. They want to have, their doctor who's on the front lines for them. But that doctor, is, like in our world, they tend to be more generalists that are able to, leverage all the, deep subject matter experts backstage to simplify life and to make sure that we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's and pushing all the right buttons.
So you basically,
but it gives it a better chance of getting our clients to that ideal future.
So you basically set that your customer up, and I know a little bit about how you do this. It's awesome that with that relationship, that person that owns the relationship understands a lot of aspects of your business, a little bit about all of them, but then has the tools and the experts they can pull whenever they need them for that partner, that customer partner, right? And that's awesome. I mean, I know I've experienced a little of your business, and it is awesome how you guys do that. Is it because I've got different needs than somebody else, and that coach that you put in place for me, right, understands how, what my goals are. Where the subject matter expert doesn't have to, right? They just have to understand on their side, how to maximize their expertise to make my portfolio better. Right? For the coach, your guy or girl that's the coach, right?
Yeah. Like we got over 200 employees now, but 65 of those are, again, those front-end relationship managers, advisors, whose job is to get and convey, wisdom, but they're tapping into the investment and technical specialists, tax specialists, business succession specialists, estate planning, trust specialists. So they've got, those 65 that are kind of like the general practitioners, that family doctor of sorts that works with each client, gets to know their needs, their desires, do the annual checkup, if you will, on all aspects of their finances, but then are able to delegate things, to those specialists, but also, leverage all the support. So, there's, again, if we got 200 employees and 65 on the front lines, that means, there's a large level of support for those advisors, if you will.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it's, nobody wants to go to the doctor, right? But general practitioner, no problem. You share whatever with them. He's not usually the guy giving you the colonoscopy, but you confide in him and you listen to him if he tells you got to get it, right? So you've got that then you've got the specialists that do the colonoscopies that really dig in, probably, right, to each person's inner thoughts, right, and where they should go with all their stuff. But I love it. I know I know why you're successful.